How you doing, Amber? You good?
Well, good evening, everyone. It is 6 p.m. and I'm now calling the November 10th, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of the Clover Park School District to order. We will begin with a moment of silence to honor our military members and their families who put themselves in harm's way, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for joining us this evening. We have a special check presentation by a community partner, Championing Student Success Foundation. I'd like to invite CSS President Bob Silverman and CCS Board Member Nikki Elliott Schumann to join Lake Louise Elementary School Principal Holly Nelson at the podium. Mr. Silverman and Ms. Elliott Schumann, we invite you to share a few words regarding this award.
Yes, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to acknowledge and give an award to Lake Louise Elementary School, one of your fine schools in the district. I'm the president of the Championing Student Success Foundation. 5 years ago, a group of former and continuing educators got together and said, how could we continue to support elementary schools in this area? And we came up with the idea of providing small monetary grant with no strings. The only requirement that we have for a school who we identify is to work with their leadership team and develop a plan for how they can continue to have student success in their schools. We look for schools that are really outstanding, making a tremendous contribution to their community and to their schools. And this year, it was our strong feeling that Lake Louise really was a deserving school. They've done some remarkable things with their students. And I'm really impressed with Holly Nielsen because not only has she worked in the past to do wonderful things for her students, but as soon as she knew that we were giving her a grant, she got right with her leadership team and developed a plan. And all she's waiting for now is the dough. So that's really a strong thing. And I'm here with Nikki Elliott Schumann, who was one of our founding board members, and she serves as a liaison and resource to schools that we fund. I've given you all my business card should you want to learn more about our foundation and the schools that we funded in the past. They've done some pretty exciting projects. It's only a little bit of money relatively, but in this day and age, any money is kind of nice to get. So, Nikki, you want to add anything?
I think you're doing great.
All right. So that's our spiel. Here's your.
Yeah. So we thank you for your partnership and support of our schools, and we'll invite the board members for pictures.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Thank you for supporting our schools.
You know, we're gonna do up and down, right? Yes.
He's good.
Again, thank you very much. We also have a special recognition. A board of directors values the importance of leadership. Importantly, it is one of the board's 4 pillars of student success. Clover Park School District offers students various opportunities to develop their leadership skills with their peers and through service in our schools and communities. These skills will serve them well after graduation and help to strengthen our community for the future. We have invited leaders from our high schools to join us this evening so the board of directors can recognize their leadership and service. These student leaders are from the Superintendent's Youth Advisory Council, Associated Student Body, and the city's Youth Council students. We thank you for your leadership and the positive impact you are making in your schools and your community. Since we have limited space, we'll call students and their administrators and groups to join us at the front for a special photo op. And we'll turn it over to Communication Manager Casey High will now coordinate the photos.
Thank you. We will begin by recognizing student leaders from the Superintendent's Youth Advisory Council. This will be followed by student leaders from ASB and City Youth Council by school. Our first recognition is for the Superintendent's Youth Advisory Council. If you are a member of the SYAC or administrator, please come to the front for a photo.
Holy cow. You're not smiling. We'll move back a little bit. This little semicircle. Come on, over the sticks. Hey, if you're 6'9", you gotta be in the back. We got more room over here. Come on over.
See how far back it is. Look for you. If you don't mind.
You want chairs? We can give them our chairs. Good job, everyone.
Thank you,
All right. Our next school recognition is Clover Park High School. If you are a Clover Park High School student, ASB leader, City Youth Council student, or administrator, please come to the front for a photo. Our next school recognition is Lakes High School. If you are a Lakes High School student, ASB leader, City Youth Council student, or administrator, please come to the front for a photo. Our next school to be recognized is Harrison Prep. If you are a Harrison Prep student, ASB leader, City Youth Council student, or administrator, please come to the front for a photo. Thank you. That concludes this recognition.
Is it just like right? Here's your phone. Again, on behalf of the board, thank you to all our student leaders, and we realize you might have homework that you need to get done, so please feel free to leave if you need to. Okay.
Testing.
So we'll now have remarks from the city of Lakewood, and Councilperson Mike Brandstetter is here to share information with the board.
Good evening. It's my pleasure to be here and speak with you, as some of you frequently come and speak with us, to be able to go and do that. I want to say that the beginning of the program, and particularly the recognition of Lake Louise Elementary School, we at the city recently had the occasion to be able to recognize students at Lake Louise who were the artists for the 2026 stormwater retention calendar that is done every year with a different school providing the artwork. And it was gratifying to see artwork that showed some effort put into it, okay, along with going to do that. And so we're pleasantly surprised to be able to have Lake Louise be the school this year as it goes on off. And then I would want to thank you for your recognition of all the student leaders in the various groups that you had. I think it's not a unusual situation for student leaders to go unnoticed in the community, and that calling them out and recognizing them, not only to the community, but to recognize them to themselves, that they're appreciated in that what they do. And we try to do that in the city where we have a youth council and do that. And we appreciate you including them in your recognition here today. And I think that was going on well. As far as the city is concerned, it's November. And so every November, you just sort of are cleaning things up on your documents and things to do that, you know. So this is a between budgeting year things, but you have to update and make it a budget adjustment to account for during the year where money you didn't anticipate appeared, and also expenses that you didn't anticipate that you appeared, or ongoing projects are taking that you thought would be done this year are going to stretch a little bit into next year to be able to go and do that. And so while we've been doing that, I'm glad to say there weren't any significant emotional events that caused adjustments to take place. They're just sort of very routine as they have been last year. We are working on some transitions of a couple of key positions. Our new city manager has been here for now getting to be 3 months in another week. He's working hard to get on the ground and learn about the community and taking a role. But we're also in the process of replacing our longtime Parks Director, Mary Dodsworth, who retired this past year. And that's an important position in the community. And within the next 2 weeks, we're looking to be able to identify finalists for that position. But it is the intention of the city to have a meet and greet and opportunities for the community to be able to move forward and interact with the candidates and give us, the city manager, advice about which one seems to be the best fit for what we want to do here in Lakewood to be able to go and do that. So that'll be coming up here, I think, later this month, that opportunity, because they're selecting the candidates to be interviewed this week. And then I think we'll be moving forward with that position so that we can maintain our momentum on quality parks that we've had. That, as always, we've got a lot of street projects underway. I know that they're important to your bus drivers and to you and to others that are there. That the project on Idlewild and 112th and Interlochen Drive is on track. It's just that it's a significant project because it's combined with water main work to be able to go and do that. And so it's got some unique detours that go with it. But it is expected to be something that will be finished by sometime in the spring to be able to go forward and do that. And Selicum Boulevard is a project that is, as far as drivers are concerned, it's somewhat done. But there is still some work around the long pole and projects like that is really the traffic signals. And so, you know, it takes a while to order them, to get them, and then it takes multiple people, electricians and other folks to be able to get them to work and then get certified before you can turn them on. So there are a number of intersections that have new traffic signals that is going to fix the timing regarding left turns and other things and to move through that'll complete that project going forward to be able to do that, to include getting all the signals for when you're a pedestrian and you want to cross the street and having those buttons work well to do that. So that's moving along well. And then the other project that's under construction is making good progress, but that has been being waited for a long time, is the non-motorized trailway from Tillicum to the main part of Lakewood there to tie into our other sidewalk networks and things there along at Ponders Corner. That's a project that is actually being conducted by the State Department of Transportation, and it has undergone multiple design modifications over the 5 years that it's been envisioned to be able to go and do that. But it is going to provide connectivity from Tillicum to here, particularly for people who are non-drivers, pedestrians, bicyclists, people with motorized equipment for their ADA situations. But it's also being set up so that long stretch, which is kind of through what is somewhat remote, is going to be lighted, and it's going to be wide enough so that it provides the accessibility without regard to the status of traffic on I-5 for emergency vehicles to travel to and from Tillicum. Something that we're excited to see coming to fruition, and is something that has been needed for a good while to go on. I think that we have the usual December events, and we look forward to the Clover Park Schools' participation in the holiday parade and tree lighting ceremony in the first week of December, to be able to go and do that. The participation of the schools is always a key event, and they add enthusiasm and color and to the event, and I'm sure that the community will. I mean, they turned out significantly well in the really rainy last year. So I'm hoping that this year we have good weather and a good time will be had by all in terms of what's going on. And then later in the month that the Lakes High School cross country team is working to help the city and host a 5K run in Port Silicon Park. And we're looking for that to be both a good time for the community, but also a good fundraiser for athletes and sports programs to go on. I guess I just on a note that for everybody, I'm glad the election is over. Okay, and I'm also glad that it was an election that was to the extent that there was debate. It was debate on issues and not on personalities or things to do that. So I think that's a good standard for a community to have as we look to have people that we entrust with responsibilities to take care of the community. But I don't really have anything else to say. I'm actually a substitute here this evening to be able to go and do that. But I am certainly willing to answer any questions or dispel any rumors that you might want to inquire about.
Any questions? No rumors. Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Okay, well, thank you and have a good rest of your evening. And if I don't run across each of you individually, a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you so much. All right, we'll now move to public comments. Board of Directors welcomes public participation and civil engagement. 60 minutes will be provided for public comment. As a guideline, we value each individual's opportunity to be a part of the public participation process. It is expected that speakers will observe the commonly accepted rules of courtesy, decorum, dignity, and good taste, as outlined in Policy 4203, civility, civil conduct is expected. Members of the audience may comment on items relating to any matter related to school board business. Negative comments or criticisms of individual staff or students are not allowed. Concerns involving individual employees should be addressed through the appropriate administrative supervisors, either in the schools or in the district office. Public comments can be made in person or by Zoom video conferencing. You'll be called upon to speak when it's your turn. When addressing the school board, each person should give their name, school district in which you reside, and identify the topic you are addressing. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person. You may defer your time to another attendee of the meeting. An individual may only receive one deferment of time, making the total speaking time for any individual 6 minutes. This is a time for the board members to listen and consider, but not comment or debate. So I see we have 4 comment cards here. Or do we have any online by chance? No one online? Okay, so first to speak is Michael Iglesias.
Good evening, Superintendent, board members. My name is Michael Iglesias. I'm a parent at Evergreen Elementary School. I'm here tonight to raise urgent concerns about student safety, behavioral support, and equity issues that affect not only our students, but also our teachers, staff members, and their overall learning environment. First, placement of students with behavioral challenges. Evergreen regularly receives an influx of students with significant behavioral challenges, including transfers from other schools on posts. These students are often placed directly into general ed classrooms without the necessary support or trained staff. While inclusion is important, this creates serious safety risks when behaviors become violent or destructive, and it negatively impacts the emotional well-being and learning environment for all students. Second, lack of parent notification when classrooms are evacuated for safety reasons. When classrooms are evacuated for safety reasons, parents are not being notified. Families remain unaware of what their children are experiencing in the classroom and cannot support their safety or emotional well-being. The district must implement a clear, immediate communication policy to ensure parents are informed whenever such incidents occur. Over the past 30 days, my daughter's classroom has been evacuated for safety reasons. I've not been notified once via the school. I get text messages about bear sightings, but not when learning has stopped for safety reasons. Third, inadequate resources and staff support. Evergreen does not have enough behavioral specialists, counselors, and paraeducators to address frequent and severe behavioral incidents. Teachers are placed into situations beyond their training while still being expected to maintain instruction for all students. This is unacceptable. Immediate action is required to increase staffing and provide comprehensive training in behavioral management and crisis response to ensure a safe and effective learning environment. Finally, disparities in support compared to other schools in the district. Evergreen's high need population and constant influx of behavioral challenge students create a resource gap compared to other schools in the district. Current staffing and resources are insufficient to meet these needs, making it difficult to maintain safety, provide individualized attention, and support academic success. I call on the board to review resources allocations to guarantee that all schools, including Evergreen, are equally supported based on student populations and behavioral challenges. Additional behavioral support specialists, counselors, and paraeducators are critical to meet our students' needs. I I'd like the board to look at the demographics of your top elementary schools in your district, Carter Lake, Beechwood, Rainier, Meriwether, and then look at Evergreens. The demographics are all the same at those elementary schools, but yet Evergreen falls way below and is in the top or in the bottom 20% for testing. Our students, teachers, and families deserve an environment that is safe. I'm wrapping it up, and supportive of every child's success. I respectfully urge the board to take immediate action on these issues. Thank you for your time and your commitment to improving our schools.
Sir, you ran out of your time. Did you want to submit that to us? It's your choice. I just want to.
Thank you. Next is Jen, is it Gateman?
Hello, my name's Jen Yateman, and I've been an employee of the district for 10 years. My daughter has been a student in the district for just as long. Today, I'm here as a parent to talk about my perspective and our experience with high school freshmen automatically being placed into an AP Human Geography program. I want to state from the start, and it's not because they're sitting here, that we love lakes. I have no problems with any of the administration or the teachers. My daughter actually really likes her AP teacher, but she is struggling in this class. And she's a bright student, but she has challenges with organization, motivation, and self-confidence, and other mental health concerns. And as parents, my husband and I believe in her potential and her abilities, but we are very realistic, and we recognize AP is not the right placement for her. It's not a good fit academically or emotionally. This particular class is leaving her feeling defeated and overwhelmed. She has said to me multiple times, she feels stupid, that this class is too hard for her. It is affecting her confidence and her performance in her other classes. It's really hard as a parent to see her self-esteem diminish because of an academic placement that she had no say in, we had no say in. I am really struggling to understand why we are putting high school freshmen through this when they're adjusting to the stress and the pressure of being in high school, particularly when the consequences could be to their overall GPA, and that could affect future college opportunities. More importantly, this sense of failure is discouraging and can impact the desire to put the effort in, to stay motivated in high school, and to stay engaged. As an employee and a parent, I truly believe that we are better together. This does not feel like we're together. I feel like I am spending all of my time building my child up as a human and a student, and she is going to school and being broken down every single day. I have shared my concerns with Lakes admin, and it's been a really good conversation. I have heard that maybe some changes are being considered to this practice. I truly hope that's true for future students. I would also encourage that decision makers look at what they can do to support the freshmen this year. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your commitment to all the students in the district.
Thank you. Next is Dana Kelcher. I hope Kelleher. Oh, I'm sorry, Kelleher. Oh, sorry about that.
It's my penmanship.
I didn't write it very clearly. I'm Dana Kelleher. I live in the Clover Park School District. I'm the proud parent of a Thomas student and a Leaks graduate. And I think the theme of what I have to say is probably communication is the best thing to say. I wanted to start by thanking Director Anderson Pearson, even though she's not here, for her service to the board. And I was so glad to see so many people here today to celebrate the accomplishments and the contributions of our youth. That was really cool. It was unexpected for me, but it was really neat to see. And I want to first talk about what a great job the district has done on the resource page of the different schools for all of the resources that are available for families. I know a lot of people are really struggling right now, and I was helping some neighbors try to access some resources, and it was very easy to find a lot of things consolidated in a place on every school district site just by going to the support, and then it went to clothing banks and to food, and that was really easy to pass on to people. So I hope that people who are seeing this, people who are here today, take a minute and look at that and share that with people around, because I think a lot of times people don't know the resources that are there. And that's part of communication. I think that's a part that the district has really nailed well, and that's available for people. I would like to see the district look more closely and with a really critical eye about what kind of communication is going out. And what Mr. Iglesias said really spoke to what I kind of thought too, is that I get a lot of notifications, specifically once a week on Sundays, that it's a late start Wednesday. I know that. And I believe that everybody in our district knows that. But we send that out, and yet there are other things that we don't find out about that I think probably parents do need to know. For example, if there's an infraction on an internet usage, that's not necessarily communicated to parents directly from IT. That's reliant on an administrator to get that message to then get to the parent. And that has fallen short a couple of times. I would like to see a consideration from IT about some sort of automatic trigger that gets sent to a parent if a specific student's device is, I don't know what the word is, inappropriately used. So I think just looking at some of those things that can happen that may require a little bit of technology, but could really improve what goes out. So ultimately, my suggestion is that a parent panel be compiled so that we could really solicit information from the families. Maybe that's a survey, maybe that's a panel, but to really find out what parents feel like they need to know, and then how can we get that message to them without just giving them the same message every week that they may not get to hear and then may ignore the rest of what happens. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next is Alyssa Torres. Okay. Carol Jacobs, nice to see you.
Before my 6 minutes start, it's nice to be here, and I kind of miss you all, actually. So I'm here on behalf of the Clover Park Foundation. The foundation has been in existence for a long time, but it's been very inactive and ineffective for a long while also. So I'm here to share some really good news. Our board has consisted of Jen Chancellor, Holly Boakey, Alyssa Torres, Lisa Boyd, and representing Superintendent Bannon has been Megan Eakins. And they are all volunteering their time. And I have to say, this is by far the best board. I've nothing personal to any other board members I served with, but we meet on a regular basis for one purpose, and it's to help fund, help create, and help purposely create a foundation for the Clover Park School Board that will impact each child. Back in September at the kickoff, or August at the kickoff, Jen spoke to the staff about having a foundation and offering grants that teachers could use for their classroom. And surprised us all, we received 59 applications. And of those applications, we had a rubric. What was going to impact students? What is not a part of school funding And Superintendent Bander was very clear, it's also not a part of levy funding. So those things we need to keep very clear, and we work very hard and diligently in doing so. So our grants range from $135 to the $500 limit. We were able to award 10 teachers from 9 different schools those said grants. Those grants will serve kids in special ed, kids in fine arts, and kids in regular classrooms. We will be going forward. We were only able to award the grants that we did because we had a certain amount of money and we didn't want to deplete the bank. So we will then be going forward with fundraising. So, but you know what? We're going to do our fundraising to give people an opportunity to give to our kids. I have always been adamant from the time I sat in those seats to the time I had little kids in school. The city of Lakewood is so incredibly kind and generous to our families and to our students, and we don't expect any difference from that. You will probably be hearing from myself or a board member because we are truly looking forward for 100% participation of past, present board members, superintendents, council members, and staff to create a continuing, ongoing process for teachers to have things for their students that they otherwise would not be able to afford. So we will be doing grants for student enrichment, for travel, for adventures that our kids don't get to go out and see because we all know that travel is incredibly expensive. We talked about having students who live in the shadow of an incredible volcano that have never been there. You know, we've got to do more than, we want to do, be able more than have our kids just go to the zoo, which I think is wonderful, but we can do better. We can do more. So this will be a community effort for all of our kids, from all of us. We are looking for more people to help us because we have this board, but we need to throw the pebble into the pond and make ripples because you all know people that we don't. And your contacts and your communication will also help us raise more money. So some of our grants that we had printing is very small here. I did give this a copy to Superintendent Bander, so if you're interested. One school had early learning tools, comparative play for the foundation of learners. We had advanced STEM engagement and inquiry broad innovation projects. We had literary collaboration, creative, expressive to inspire motivation. We've done STEM-based design thinking and collaboration and problem solving. We've done innovative literacy tools, improving engagement and learning outcomes. Those are kind of the jargon of what we did. We can go into much greater detail if you desire to have some. But the Clover Park Foundation, we're going to grow and we're going to make this a community project. We had a meeting this afternoon, so I haven't been at these meetings, but we've been having our own meetings. We will start the applications for next fall by this spring, but we have to have the funds to be able to do so. So that's why we'll be calling and knocking and asking for support for all of our kids. So I want to thank Superintendent Bander. He is just, let's do it, Carol, let's get it done. And everybody I've spoken to has just been enthusiastic, supportive, and it's been an ongoing thing that will get bigger and it's going to get better as we go on. So thank you very much. And I know you can't ask me any questions, but if you have any, please send them to Superintendent Bander and I will get them.
Thank you so much. Any online? No? Okay, that will conclude public comment. Thank you very much. We will now move to reports from the superintendent.
Thank you, Vice President Thomas and board directors. To start just by reiterating a kudos to all of our student leaders. That's our future, and every other student in our district are our future. And so we need to continue to lift them up and give them opportunities in these leadership roles. And just because a student doesn't walk up here and take a picture doesn't mean they're not a leader in our schools. And so that's important. Every student has that capability, and it's our job to help foster that. And so I thank everyone for their work in that. With regard to curriculum adoption, the link to review the proposed ELA adoption materials was sent to you on October 10th and then resent on October 28th via your email. And so if you have any trouble getting into that, please let us know so that we can help navigate. The WASDA conference is coming up. As you'll know, you have some, I think, information in front of you, November 20 through November 22nd. I want to start this by congratulating you all on being a Board of Distinction for the second consecutive year. We'll be eagerly awaiting the announcement for Board of the Year when we are up there. And if we get it, great. And if we don't, we are a Board of Distinction and we'll keep fighting in that direction. I will send out some recommended breakout sessions. Again, please keep in mind, these are just recommendations for our new board directors. Board boot camp on, I think it's on Thursday, is always recommended because it gives you kind of the nitty gritty about being a board director. On Thursday afternoon, there will be a breakout session on Impact Aid delivered by my colleagues from the Washington State Impact Aid Association. We are a member of that association. And because we are a recipient of Impact Aid, I do recommend that you continue to learn as much as you can about Impact Aid. Friday afternoon, there will be another breakout session where on board relationships and critical conversations. As Director Anderson Pearson, President Anderson Pearson indicated, her and I have been tagged by WASDA's executive director to be 2 of the 4 panel members on that. And so I promise I won't say anything bad about any of us, but if you want to attend that, your attendance is welcome there. You heard from our city comments that the city is hosting its annual holiday parade of lights, December 6th. I'm hoping all of you can get out for that and walk with us. Our district participates each year. We will have a big yellow school bus float and a host of parade marchers from our schools and district offices, and we make up a good city block long of folks putting that together. So please, if you can, come out. Caring for Kids, the Happy Hearts dinner auction will take place in the McGavick Center on February 21st. The district has 2 tables reserved. And so if you're planning on attending, please reach out to our office to RSVP. Those tickets are $45 per person. And for those of you that have never heard Caring for Kids, that is an organization in our school district that just does nothing but support young people in our district, as well as in Steilacoom and UP. But if we need something for a student, we make a call, it's there that day. And so we always try to make sure that we support Caring for Kids and the work that they do. With regard to our budget, I've been very transparent about the 26-27 school year and the volatility of federal funding. And so my council team continues to meet to discuss that volatility or uncertainty of the funding with respect to Title II, Title III, and Title IV funds as they relate to the 26-27 school year. As you know, you'll be receiving presentations on that budget year beginning this next spring, and you'll be voting to approve a proposed budget for that budget year in July of 2026. We've never really talked about it this early. Reminder, I've been talking about it since last July. Because again, that volatility of budget, we are going to be looking at some difficult decisions because we have to budget for the worst case scenario. So the district is approaching these decisions and recommendations from a position of fiscal conservatism. We have to be, as my mom used to say, tight with our wallet. And so I do anticipate a full report for you all with recommendations to the board at your January workshop. I was able to visit a couple of schools this weekend, or this past Friday, Oak Grove, Furwood. We were able to see the instructional systems as they're aligned to that mental health hospital setting out at Western State. And then also we visited Carter Lake, where one of our 4 dual language kindergarten classes is, and made my entire weekend to see the work that's going on there. I know we were hesitant, tentative, like to launch and to take those steps, and I could see the good work that's happening, and I know that that's reflective in our other dual language kindergarten classrooms as well. Tonight we have a report for you from on Lakes High School as presented by Principal Ray Kurtz. Principal Kurtz has been with the Clover Park School District since 1996. I think that's when I got my teaching certificate. Um, He taught English and mathematics for 16 years while also coaching sports and advising clubs. He served as a consultant teacher or coach of other teachers for 4 years. Since 2016, he has been a dean of students at Lockburn Middle School and assistant principal at both Lakeview Hope Academy and Clover Park High School. He has been the principal at Lakes High School since 2023. Principal Kurtz earned his bachelor's degree from Pacific Lutheran University, his master's degree from Grand Canyon. Go Lopes.
Go Lopes.
I got my master's from there too. He's a good guy. And he completed his principal certification program through Washington State History. Go Cougs. Principal Kurtz, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Vice President Thomas, members of the board, and Superintendent Banner. Like Mr. Banner said, my name is Ray Kurtz, and I'm honored to serve as the principal of Lakes High School. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight on behalf of our dedicated staff, incredible students, and supportive families. A couple are here. I appreciate my people for being here. And I'm proud to represent the Lancer community to tell the story of the outstanding work happening every day at Lakes High School. First, as I share our mission and vision tonight, I want to ground us in the purpose behind everything we do at Lakes High School. Our mission is clear. All students will learn at high levels to connect and compete, collaborate as global citizens. And our vision guides how we'll make this happen. To ensure our students are prepared to thrive in a global society, we will provide an effective academic and career-oriented education that is both rigorous and relevant while building strong, positive relationships. All of this work, from the classroom to our co-curricular programs, is centered on one ultimate goal: to create proud Lakes High School graduates who are ready for the world beyond our doors. Yep. Back. There we go. On this slide, you can see Lakes High School reflects the unique diversity of Lakewood and Joint Base Lewis-McChord communities that we serve. Compared to the state demographics, we have notably higher percentage of multiracial students, as well as students identifying as Black, African American, and Pacific Islander Hawaiian. In contrast, the percentage of white and Asian students is significantly lower than the state average, and our Hispanic student percentage is slightly below the state average. Lakes High School serves a diverse student body with complex needs, including a significant population that receive free and reduced lunch, and a notably large military-connected population due to our proximity to Joint Base Lewis-McChord. While military students bring resilience and global perspectives that enrich our school every day, they also face unique challenges such as frequent transitions and family deployments, requiring our instructional practices, our counseling services, and family engagement strategies to be flexible, responsive, and trauma-informed to ensure that all students can thrive. Washington State uses the Smarter Balance Assessment as a summative end-of-the-year test to measure English language arts and math proficiency. In high school, the test is given to all 10th grade students. These proficiency scores make up 30% of our score for the Washington State Improvement Framework. Our scores in ELA have been growing in proficiency over the past 3 years, including last year we had a 9.5% increase in our scores, and we exceeded the state average. This improvement can be linked to the hard work of our English department and that they did to improve outcomes for all students. This is centered on the work in PLCs and reimagining how we can teach English in 9th and 10th grade. Our proficiency scores in math have been on a downward trend. 15.4% students were proficient in the spring of 2024 and 14.9% in the spring of 2025. OSPI does not produce or report student growth percentiles or SGPs for grade 10. SGPs are generated by the district to help us better understand student growth from grade 8 to grade 10. At Lakes, we'll always relentlessly pursue student growth, and our growth scores in the spring of 2024 were a call for action for our school. Our English department, along with support from Teaching and Learning, looked for where we're not meeting the needs of our students. These were not easy conversations that we had in the summer of 2024, and I am proud of the work this team did in 2025. There was an excitement in the English department as they fully embraced the PLC process, as well as implemented strategies that supported student growth, including using interim benchmark assessments and other formative assessments.
Also, our 9th and 10th grade ELA teachers had one-to-one goal-setting meetings with every student to discuss their progress. This work can be seen in the increase in student growth percentile from the 27th percentile to the 51st percentile, which indicates they grew more than expected. Our student growth percentile in math increased over the past year from the 37th percentile to the 45th percentile. And while we acknowledge there's an increase here, it's not where we want to be as a school, and this will be the primary focus for us this year, as I'll talk about later. The Washington Comprehensive Assessment of Science, or WCAS, is administered to all 11th grade students in the spring. For the first time in 2025, Lake scored below the state average. In response, our administrators and science department are focusing on two key areas. First, we're improving the testing environment for 11th graders, many of whom are spread across multiple science classes and enrolled in Running Start and taking classes over at Pierce. Secondly, we are working to align our curriculum more consistently, beginning with biology, which all 9th grade students take. 3 times a year, we give the STAR assessment to all our 9th and 10th grade students. We use this data to see how students are growing throughout the year. The Lakes English team was very proud of their growth in 9th grade, which was in the 67th percentile. As I mentioned earlier, the English team made improvements in how they were delivering instruction with students and worked a lot on goal setting with students. We're expecting to see this growth continue into the 10th grade year and see results on the SBA this year. Our growth with the 10th grade students was below the 50th percentile in STAR reading. On this slide, you can see our scores from STAR Math. Our 9th grade students grew at a rate slower than expected and performing slightly lower than the 50th percentile. 10th grade students slightly exceeded the 50th percentile in proficiency, and student growth was in the 54th percentile, which means they grew slightly more than expected. Lakes High School's 2025-2026 School Annual Action Plan, or SAP plan, centers on 3 strategic priorities: academic achievement, community engagement, and creating an inclusive environment. These goals are grounded in data and aligned to Clover Park School District's core initiatives of PLC Plus, Multi-Tiered Systems of Support, or MTSS, and inclusionary and equitable access through Universal Design for Learning, or UDL. Together, these priorities reflect our commitment to high levels of learning, strong family partnerships, and a culture where every student can thrive. In the area of academic achievement, our goal is to increase the percentage of geometry students meeting proficiency by getting to level 3 on the SBA from 8.2% to 24%. For community engagement, Lakes aims to strengthen the family-school partnerships by increasing positive responses to the Center for Educational Effectiveness, or CEE, parent survey, raising the percentage of families who report that the school communicates how they can support their student with homework from 42% to 60%, and those who feel teachers accommodate their students' individual needs by adjusting instruction from 49% to 60%. To foster a more inclusive learning environment, we'll focus on increasing the percentage of 9th grade students earning a GPA of 2.0 or higher from 74% to 85%, reflecting our belief that early academic success is foundational for long-term achievement. So I'll take some time to go into each one of these goals. In the area of academic achievement, our SAP focuses on increasing the percentage of geometry students meeting proficiency on the SBA from 8.2% to 24%. We identified this goal because our math SBA scores have shown little improvement in recent years. A deeper analysis revealed a key challenge. The assessment covers content from Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2. Yet approximately 65% of our 10th grade test takers are enrolled in geometry and haven't revisited Algebra 1 concepts in nearly 2 years. In contrast, 35% of our students in Algebra 2 or higher level courses demonstrate a much higher rate of success on the SBA. So by focusing specifically on geometry instruction, we can better address this gap. Our strategy includes strengthening core classroom instruction and incorporating spiraling interventions during Wednesday classes, and it's a method that revisits previously taught material, including Algebra 1 skills, to reinforce foundational knowledge. Teachers are collaboratively developing these lessons and midi assessments during professional learning community time, or PLC time, following a model our ELA team has successfully implemented that I mentioned earlier. We're also providing targeted support such as one-to-one student-teacher goal-setting meetings to personalize learning and help students take ownership of their academic growth. In the area of community engagement, Lakes aims to strengthen the family-school partnerships by improving two-way communication that supports student success. We are working to increase positive responses on the CE parent survey, specifically, as I mentioned, raising the percentage of families who feel that school communicates how they can support their student with homework from 42% to 60%, and those who believe teachers adjust instruction to meet individual needs from 49% to 60%. To achieve these goals, we are implementing several key strategies. We will fully adopt Parent Square as our primary communication platform to streamline family communication. Staff have received regular training on Language Line to ensure accessibility for all families. We're also expanding our school-wide celebrations to recognize student achievement, including honoring ninth grade students and the recipients of our Lancer Level Up Award, which recognizes students who demonstrate significant academic growth. Additionally, teachers are encouraged to update Skyward weekly and proactively contacting families when students need additional support, ensuring parents are informed partners in their students' education. Finally, to foster an inclusive environment, we aim to increase the percentage of ninth grade students earning a GPA of 2.0 or higher from 74% to 85%. While the state measures on track differently than we do, our data shows that the GPA is a stronger indicator of long-term success. Students below a 2.0 are far less likely to stay through graduation, often leaving for alternative programs. By focusing on early interventions, mentoring, and targeted support, we are working to ensure more students begin high school on track and persist through graduation. At Lakes High School, equity is reflected in how we include, connect, celebrate, and listen. Inclusion means every Lancer feels like they belong, whether it's ensuring students can have what they need from our Lancer closet or making sure all students can attend school dances, games, and events. Community is built through these relationships that unite our diverse student body, staff, and families across Lakewood and Joint Base Lewis McChord. We celebrate success and culture through events like Japan Fest and by honoring our 13 Elizabeth Wesley Award winners who represent leadership and excellence. And through student voice listening sessions, we ensure that every Lancer is heard and valued in shaping our school's direction. Together, these commitments make equity not just a value at Lakes, but a daily practice that strengthens our inclusive Lancer community. The 4 pillars of student success represent essential traits that provide a strong foundation for student achievement in school and beyond graduation. At Lakes High School, our diverse student body requires us to intentionally implement these pillars through equity-driven instructional practices, community engagement, and support systems that ensure every student has access to high-quality learning opportunities for success. Leadership is one of the 4 pillars and plays a vital part at Lakes High School's culture. Our student mentors demonstrate leadership by guiding ninth graders on Wednesday advisories, Lancer Academy in the summer, and our Power Within program in the spring. Leadership also shines through groups like our Black Student Union, whose members organized impactful Black History Month events, including a school-wide assembly that celebrated culture and unity. Collaboration is a key pillar at Lakes High School and is emphasized across all areas of our school community. It's at the heart of our athletic and fine arts programs where teamwork and shared effort drive success. Collaboration also happens in the classrooms, where students and teachers work together to set individual academic goals, such as an English teacher here reviewing STAR scores with a student to plan targeted strategies for growth. Lifelong learning is a core pillar at Lakes High School and is deeply reflected in our CTE programs, where students explore real-world careers and discover their passions. Students in exploring computer science gain hands-on experience with technology, while our ecology students teach biology and botany to 5th graders at Lakeville Gardens, applying their knowledge in authentic settings. In our aircraft manufacturing program, students develop industry-ready skills that can lead directly to employment with companies like Boeing right after graduation. Character is a foundational pillar at Lakes High School and is built into many aspects of our student experience. Our award-winning JROTC program teaches the value of character every day. Our leadership programs emphasize the importance of representing Lakes with integrity in school, at sporting events, as well as in the community. We want all of our Lancers to do things right and do things well. Community engagement is a vital part of who we are at Lakes High School, reflecting our strong connection to the Lakewood and Joint Base Lewis McChord communities. We build these partnerships and celebrate our shared identity through a variety of events that strengthen relationships, honor achievements, and create meaningful opportunities for our community to rally together in support of our students. Some of these activities and events are our Lancer Family Barbecue that we have in August, choir and band concerts, our open house, Artesia in the spring, the Business and Marketing Trade Show, our Senior Awards Night, our JOTC Awards Night, our Veterans Day Assembly, which we had today, and our Multicultural Assembly. And all these events culminate in our biggest community event of the year, which is graduation, where this past year we proudly celebrated the class of 2025 and an outstanding 96.5% graduation rate. I'm truly grateful for the opportunity to highlight the incredible collaboration, dedication, and student-centered work happening every day at Lakes High School. I also want to take a moment to recognize and thank the outstanding educators, support staff, and leaders who make this possible. I am especially grateful to our administrative team and other staff, and it's an honor to work alongside such passionate and dedicated people. As we look ahead, our focus remains steadfast to ensure that every Lancer who walks across that graduation stage is prepared, proud, and ready to make a meaningful difference in the world. Thank you for your continued supports of Lakes High School and the Lancer community, and I welcome any questions or feedback from the board at this time.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Are there any questions? Director Caldwell?
Okay, so you talked geometry. Are there classes aside from AP geometry that are offered, just regular geometry at Lakes?
In geometry, are you talking about what was brought up earlier
Yeah.
with the AP Human Geography?
Oh, geography. I thought it was geometry the whole time. I
No,
was
no, no.
thinking like, oh.
Wrong department, social
AP
studies.
geometry. Oh my, Thanks. Well, there you go. I don't have any questions at this point.
I'm sorry. Thanks.
Director Kim?
Thank you for your presentation. I wanted to applaud the work that's being done in the English department and really appreciate that you're using that model as a lens to look at math and what's working in English to apply to math, because the gains in your student growth percentiles are really exciting, and we'd like to see those in the student achievement as well, right? As would you. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with math. I did have a question about the mentoring program that you talked about for ninth graders. It sounds like all ninth graders have some mentorship through their advisory
Yes.
committee.
So what?
Yeah.
Okay, we do a mentoring through our advisory programs once or twice a month, which are on Wednesdays. So we have student leaders, juniors and seniors. We kind of train them up, we kind of teach them, give them some activities, and then they go into the advisory classes and work with freshmen. And it's kind of the culture at Lakes. We've been doing this for quite a long time. And it's just something, freshmen will come up and they'll want to be a mentor when they get older. And so it just kind of repeats that cycle of itself. So. And then we run two special kind of programs. One is in summer, our Mentors Support Our Lancer Academy, which we run in August. And then we also do a Power Within, which is kind of like a big celebration of freshmen, and also helps them feel a little bit more comfortable and kind of more open and kind of build community within the school.
It sounds like an amazing, tier one kind of intervention where everybody's getting those
Yes.
supports. And I'm just wondering about, you talked about the 2.0 GPA for freshmen being such an important
Yes.
marker for future success. And do you do some targeted tier 2, tier 3 mentoring with your freshmen?
Yeah, so we do take a look at, we've implemented some supports this year. We have kind of a specially crafted advisory for students that we already noticed maybe are off track a little bit. We do a lot of work with our counseling department and our counselors. They oftentimes bring up things. We do intervention. We have an intervention team that gets together every Monday morning that discusses specific students and students that might be more tier 3. We have a number of partners that we have that work with us, Greater Lakes Mental Health, as well as our MFLAC. And so we've kind of created this kind of triage system. How can we support all of our kids, whether it's within, if they're tier 2, they need a little bit of support. Academically, we're working through that. A lot of times the academic support oftentimes comes in the form of after school support. And so we really try to push that. We do a lot of after-school tutoring. Most of our departments have very rigorous after-school and kind of support system. So we're really looking into that, but it's always something we want to get better about, especially in that tier 2 level. Those kids oftentimes get, kind of fall through the cracks. And so we're using data to identify these kids real quickly. And that's one of the reasons why we chose that 2.0, because it's really simple to find students that are below that 2.0 and then kind of address that with different programs that we have.
Thank you so much for your explanation.
Thank you.
Director Lowry, you have a question?
Well, having been in high schools my entire career, I can definitely appreciate all of the work that you guys are doing, and I've done your job. So congratulations.
Thank you.
The ELA going up by 24% growth rate is pretty outstanding for the teachers that did that work. It probably wasn't just the ELA teachers, probably also other people who teach how to read and write, like history teachers.
Yeah.
So congratulations to all of them. That's a heavy lift in 1 year. So and I'd like to honor the work that was done. So I think that's just amazing.
Thank you.
Other than that, I just have kudos and like to see the math scores keep the growth rate keep going up. And it's not
Absolutely.
proficiency. I think it's about the growth and good job. Keep
Thank you.
working.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That concludes our report for this evening. Principal Kurtz, nice job. Thank you.
All right, the board will now move to the consent agenda for members of the community. As a reminder, the board has had the opportunity to review the agenda items with the superintendent. So, board, is there a motion to approve items 26-026 through 26-032 from the consent agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Director Caldwell. Is there a second?
Seconded?
Second by Director Kim. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. And the motion passes unanimously. Like those quick and easy deals there, huh? So moving to individual action items. Individual action item number 26-033, negotiated agreement between Clover Park School District and Educate Support Personnel of Clover Park. Board, is there a motion to approve?
So moved?
Moved by Director Kim. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Lowry. Superintendent Banner, will you speak to this item, please?
Yes, the district and the ESPCP negotiating teams entered into negotiations based on its contract expiration date of August 31st, 2025. The district has negotiated within the parameters set by the board and reached a tentative agreement with ESPCP team, which the board has reviewed in executive session. If approved, this action sets forth a 2-year contract with the ESPCP for the period of September 1, 2025 through August 31, 2027. And I recommend approval of this action item.
So board, are there any questions or comments? All right, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Say nay, and the motion passes. Next is action item 26-034. Board, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Approved by Director Lowry. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Director Kim. Superintendent Banner, will you speak to this item, please?
Yes, the State Board of Education requires that each school district assures that each school has a school annual action plan. Each of our schools began their stakeholder collaborative planning during the spring of 2025. These plans were reviewed at the district council level in October and presented to the school board of directors on October 24th for review. On October 27th, there was a review of the school annual action plan format and the opportunity for discussion and questions by the board. The plans are now before you for approval, and I recommend approval of this action item.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
I just want to again say how much I appreciated the new format of the school annual action plans and all of the hard work and effort and thinking and planning that went into the creation of these documents, and I look forward to their fruition.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. And the motion passes. Next is action item 26-035. Board, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Director Caldwell. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Director Lowry. Superintendent Banner, will you speak to this item, please?
Yes, several policies outlined in this resolution have been presented to the board for approval. These policies were presented at your October regular meeting as a first reading. They were subsequently presented for review, discussion, and question at your October workshop meeting. Based on the recommendations made by the board at the workshop meeting, some minor changes were made. They are now before you for second reading or adoption. If approved, these policies will be adopted as presented tonight. I recommend approval of this action.
All right, any questions or comments?
I have a comment. I appreciate the fact that policy 3241 is being revised based on some of the changes that have been made at the state level. Just because I had to implement some of the things that were the old policies, and they were very difficult to do. So I'm glad that we're going back a little bit to kind of like call the middle. So that's it.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. And the motion passes. And that is the end of our individual action items. Matters for discussion. Discussion of the Head Start impact of government shutdown. Superintendent Banner, would you like to provide an overview, please?
Yes, you all received a executive memorandum in your packet for tonight's meeting. In short, the impact of the government shutdown threatens our Head Start program because we are not getting funded for Head Start. It is a November to October funded program. And so the threat is that we will not be funded for it. The Puget Sound ESD has indicated that they will fund the Head Start program through the end of November. Well, that's through the end of November. We have met as a district and talked about 3 potential options, all of which I'll review in just a moment. Before reviewing those options, it's important to note that a couple of things for your decision-making this evening. The scope of the impact for our district will be that 95 students and families will be impacted. Students will have a loss of academic progress towards readiness if we don't continue the program. There will be a loss of regular breakfast and lunch that a lot of our families rely on for their students, a loss of health screenings scheduled through participation in the program, such as hearing, vision, dental, a loss of early intervention and early special education screening to families. And there are a host of opportunities that parents have around educating themselves as a family, as parents, that would also be lost. Full disclosure, if we dedicate funds, we don't know if we would get these funds reimbursed by the federal government. We would keep documentation on exactly our time and effort towards the program if we fund the program, so that if there's a possibility of reimbursement, we will be prepared with the data to support that reimbursement. We don't know, we do know now, after a lot of work last week by our finance department, that this potentially, if we fund it, it would be a legal action because we would not be supplanting for a federal program. We would be bridging a gap temporarily. And those words are extremely important, temporary and bridging a gap. Also, want to make sure that you hear me say that we did not factor any of these expenditures, potential expenditures, into our 25-26 budget. So if we're not reimbursed, then they would be coming out of our budget reserves. That said, the options that we've discussed are for us to use our local funds to temporarily fund the Head Start program serving the 95 students. Another option would be to close the Head Start program and resume again with that when the shutdown concludes. You might tell by my pause that I have to give you these options. I'm not excited by this one or the next. In closing the program, folks would be eligible for unemployment funds. We would still have to pay those unemployment benefits to somewhere around $110,000. And again, these numbers are very high level. Option 3 would be to close down the Head Start program and transfer the 20 Head Start staff members to other positions that we have in the district. And if those were increases then in pay, then those are increases in pay. If they were decreases in pay, we would look to try to fill that gap. Otherwise, it would not be, I mean, why would I do that? I would just go on unemployment for my 26 weeks of benefits. So there are costs regardless of the options. The key here is that option 1 keeps young people, our earliest young people, in program, in education, and the other 2 options do not. And now kind of shift back to some of that scope of the impact that I talked about a little bit earlier. So from my perspective, my recommendation would be that we fund the program temporarily, filling the gap, and that this evening a motion is made that the Clover Park School District Board would approve the district's recommendation of option 1 to fund our Head Start program on a temporary basis, specifically for the months of December and January. If the government opens and resumes payments for these programs, the district would cease its fiscal contribution and continue the program through federal funding. If the government did not resume funding the Head Start program, the district would reevaluate in January of 2026 to brief the board and seek guidance and direction moving forward. It's very important that, you know, I'm saying certain words for the record. It's very important that we're here having this conversation because these are dollars that you did not count on when you approved the budget in July of 2025. And this would be a commitment of those dollars in a worst case scenario. It's also important because I was watching the news last night, as a lot of people have been, and there is a potential for the government shutdown for the government to reopen. But thinking about the parameters of that reopening, it's a CR for a year long for 3 items: SNAP, I think construction, military construction. There are 3 things that were not relevant to necessarily this meeting.
Can you
But-
please say what a CR is?
Continuing resolution, so they would not pass a budget. They would continue what's
Yeah,
been going on.
I know what it meant. I just meant for clarity.
Yes, so for clarity, CR is continuing resolution.
Thank you.
Keeping the government open would only be through January of 2026. So whatever our decision is, we would still be looking at kind of this moving target. And of course, we, as a district, because these funds are so large, we would be coming to the board for guidance and direction. So thing about continuing resolutions, for the record also, is that things that are not codified by legislation can be adjusted at the pleasure of the administration in Washington, D.C. So that's why the Title II, 3, and 4 are manipulatable, because only Title I is codified in legislation. Title II, and IDEA, they are codified in legislation. So these other ones not being codified can be messed with. So back to my original recommendation to the board would be that we fund, because we don't know what's going to happen. It could be on Thursday that the government is open. And how long? I can't tell you that. You can watch the news channel just like I can to figure out the volatility does not go away. The uncertainty has not and is not going away. So my recommendation is that to the board that that a motion happens tonight. And why I say tonight is because we don't have another regular meeting until December 8th. And if we don't have this motion tonight and a decision either way tonight, then we would not be ready to do this for December 1st. The other thing that I want to say is that it is never a good time to take staff members, students, and families and to just kind of toss them up in the air. We have staff members that are working their tail off to support kiddos. You've heard it in this report, you heard it in other reports, and the exact same thing is happening in our early learning programs. And then parents who are going to be impacted. And, you know, for me, the most important is you have 95 students that will be impacted. So I ask you to think of all of the rambling that I just went through as you consider. And if there's a motion, then I think we do a motion. I think there's a first and a second and a discussion. And because of the nature of this impacting our budget, I would recommend, even if it's not required, a roll call vote.
I have a quick question, if that's possible. It's more for my clarification, having spent my entire career dealing with employment law. Are we under, you know, a guideline or a limit of if we went with option 3, that isn't there a time limit that we have to notify those staff members who may be either losing or moving positions?
Anything that we did here would be in full cooperation and collaboration with our ESPCP leadership team. These are partners, right? Our employee partners. So the normal timeline for a reduction with our classified employees, I believe, is a notification of November 15th. And that, you know, typically if we were doing that, we're talking about knowing this and having conversations early October, mid-September. So there would be a rush in this space. And so, yes, there are those things. And, you know, when the funding is gone, then we would work together in partnership with our ESPCP leadership to potentially have to do an MOU if we violated something that's in their contract, or if we were heading down that road of it, you know, not meeting a threshold in the contract.
Okay, are there any other questions? Director Lowry?
I just want to make sure that option 1, is that worded correctly? You said we have to use very specific language in what we say, like we're not supplanting federal funds. So when we say use local funds to temporarily fund Head Start, are we temporarily funding Head Start, or is it a different wording that needs to be in the motion?
No, I think that's,
Correct?
yes, that's correct. And that would be in the memo. And so clearly our written documentation and then even my verbal tonight kind of mimic that. So yes, temporarily funding a gap in that.
So I just want to point out that Head Start serves families that are at 100% of the federal poverty guideline. These are our most vulnerable families in our community. And with that in mind, I would like to make the motion to go with option 1 and use local federal funds to temporarily fund Head Start for those 95 students.
We would just look for a second and then.
Yeah, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Caldwell. Any other questions or comments?
Do we need to mention something about bridging the gap?
I think it's in the,
It's
I've said it a couple about,
Okay.
yeah, we're on record.
Favor?
Could we?
Aye.
hold on.
Sorry.
Yeah, just because, and I don't know that it's required, but I think it's important because of this amount of money that we did a roll call vote, working from the end down. And so you.
Okay, so Carmen, can you call the roll on that?
Yes.
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 Vice President Thomas?
Yes.
That's 4 yeses, so this does pass.
All right. So with that, we'll now move to board member reports. Director Caldwell, you have.
Thank you. Way back on October 17th, I visited Evergreen Elementary with Superintendent Banner and Tess McCart. And it was absolutely fabulous. I got to meet the principal, Jessie Norquist, and she took us through an amazing state-of-the-art facility. The overall feeling was calm. There was incredible support staff there for military families that were from JBLM. There were support centers where students could process through deployment or long times when they're military family members at a training. I was just really in awe of the way in which that building was intentionally designed to meet the needs of our special students that we sometimes have, and that it was so thought out that I would recommend other districts come and see what is possible. We got to visit a few fourth grade classrooms. We visited fourth grade, not just fourth grade, we visited so many. And they were having, they were using multiplication, but as a second grade teacher myself, I couldn't help but think about repeated addition. And so when they were going through their problems, I just could see how the repeated addition would then turn into how they were using that skill in multiplication. I got to witness Ron and Tess interacting with students. I was just more watching though because I didn't want to intrude. I was super impressed to see evacuation slides at every stairwell and to learn that they practiced during their drills to evacuate people who could not go down the stairs without assistance. Yeah, so it was an amazing, amazing experience. And I would just recommend that other people go and visit that facility just to be aware of what is possible. Thank you.
Director Kim?
Yes, I haven't had a chance this past month to visit any of the schools, but I wanted to just point out from our Friday board reports, the updated information about graduation rates. And one of the things that I'm just so excited about is not only is there the upward trajectory, so looking at four-year graduation rates in the past 6 years, going from 88% to 93.7%. There's also, back in 1920, there was a significant gap between CP and Lakes of 83% to 92%. And this year, it was 95 and 96%. So the fact that those gaps between the high schools are closing, as well as all of the high school graduation rates are rising, is just, I think, something to be proud of and excited about.
Director Lowry?
I would just like to thank the my other board directors that we did something with Head Start that I think was positive tonight. I do agree with Director Kim that those are the most vulnerable kids in our community. I see them when I'm volunteering in the community center. I see the families, and I'm glad that we're going to help them to continue their education because those are the kids that really need that additional support. So thank you.
Well, sorry to say the only thing I did this month was I addressed the city council. I believe it was last week, sitting in for President Anderson Pearson. I thought it was interesting, and I shared this with Superintendent Banner, that the council was asking if the district had received calls or concerns about meals or food or what was going on during the shutdown. And I just talked with Superintendent Banner about that, so.
Just as an FYI, the next morning, Mayor Whalen saw me at Starbucks and he had the same question. And just, again, for the record, our families have needs and we continue with programs like Caring for Kids and all of our various support systems within Lakewood to help support those needs with the cooperation of our ESPCP president, who's probably gonna get mad when I call her out. But again, as a community, Irene called me and she said, "Hey, what are we doing?" And even if it's notification, and we collaborated on a message that would go out to all staff last week to give some of those resources, at the touch of a link. And I got several points of feedback, and of course I took all the credit, Irene. Just kidding. But our folks are in need, and it's not just our families, but our staff members. We have staff members who also rely on SNAP benefits and such. And so we continue to provide the resources and to support in every way that we can. And we will continue to do so. There's Carol Jacobs said earlier, there's something about this city, and I've always said this, is that and I'm not putting down other cities and other places, but when the call goes out here, the call gets answered here. And that's very important. That's an underlying current that a lot of folks cannot say that they have. And we don't do it perfectly all the time, but I guarantee we feel good about our efforts. And if we're not doing it, we'll look in the mirror and reflect. So it's great to be in Lakewood and in Clover Park School District.
Well, with that, we don't have executive session tonight, so motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Director Lowry. Do we have a second?
Seconded.
Second by Director Kim. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Well, personally, we don't have a board workshop this month. So wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you in December. We'll see you at WASDA. That's right. Thanks, everybody.